Hello everyone, Carter Krishner here for Beyond the 90. World Cup qualifying is done. Congratulations to the 48 teams that qualified for a 48-team World Cup. And here's where I'm going with this. 48 teams was always going to be too much for a World Cup. So we have some nations that have qualified that will not be competitive in this World Cup. And I know people will rattle off Haiti, Curacao, DR Congo, maybe Iraq, maybe Uzbekistan. And I tend to agree on all of those, but that's not why I'm making this video today, and that's not who I'm here to talk about. And first of all, when we talk about Haiti specifically, Haiti qualified for this World Cup ahead of Costa Rica, who has qualified for just about every World Cup since 2002, right? They missed the one World Cup because of Jonathan Bornstein's two late goals in DC. In the 2010 World Cup. And then they qualified ahead of Honduras, who is a very, very competent, strong country. Jamaica lose yesterday. That would have given us another CONCACAF country in the World Cup. But Jamaica, you would think, would have been more likely to qualify than Curacao, who qualified ahead of them in that group. So every country that's here, 47 of them, really earned their way into this World Cup. Whether it's DR Congo, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Uzbekistan, whether it's Curacao, whether it's Haiti, they won enough in World Cup qualifying to qualify for the World Cup. But who didn't win enough in World Cup qualifying to merit a place in the World Cup? Well, that's Sweden. And I know this is highly irregular because it's Sweden to have this conversation. They were quarterfinalists just in Russia, right? 2018. They made the quarterfinals. They have made the semifinals the last time the World Cup was in the United States. They have generally been very competitive in World Cups. They won a group in 2002 that included England and Argentina. They won that group. And then, of course, they made a final of a World Cup. Lost Pelé's initial final. First time Pelé won a World Cup, 1958. They beat Sweden in the final. So they are a highly decorated footballing nation with some great players. They won 2 qualifiers in European qualifying, lost 6 and drew 2. They were wholly uncompetitive. I saw them in a qualifier, I want to say against Switzerland, who were very good. Okay, Switzerland are one of the underrated national programs in the world. In fact, I think if you look at projected over time, they have the longest streak of getting out of the group stage of major tournaments among European countries. The second longest streak, France, is the only one with the longest streak. They have a longer streak than Portugal or Spain, believe it or not, or England. So so Switzerland is pretty good. But how did Sweden make the World Cup playoff to where they were able to get through and qualify and beat Poland on Tuesday? It's because of the UEFA Nations League. And so you have countries like Denmark, who played well in qualifying, but they let Scotland pipe them at the end. Countries like Italy. Okay, I don't want to get into the whole Italian subject today, but yes, Italy is more deserving of qualifying for the World Cup than Sweden. Okay, are they more deserving than Bosnia? No, they couldn't beat Bosnia. But they are more deserving than Sweden. You have those sorts of countries miss out on the World Cup, even Wales, even some of the other European countries, Ukraine, did better in qualifying than Sweden. So UEFA has to seriously look at this Nations League thing, where I know they're trying to incentivize countries to take the Nations League seriously because the promotion and relegation thing hasn't exactly worked. I mean, England got relegated at one point. No one made a big fuss about it. They were relegated to League B, by the way, for those who don't know, and then it came back up. Germany, I think at one point might have been relegated to League B. It's been too much to keep track of. I thought the Nations League was a cool idea when they started it in 2018, but I quickly lost interest after that first tournament. And truthfully, this is kind of obscene. Now, I know this is the path Georgia used to make the Euros last time. But that was different because and North Macedonia made the Euros the previous time. For countries like that, where this is their best shot of qualifying for a major tournament, I can see it. But for Sweden, who had their worst qualifying campaign in recent memory. Sweden regularly qualifies for major tournaments, and as we talked about, generally gets out of the group stage. So for them to get a second chance, it doesn't sit well with me. And I do want to give credit to Graham Potter, who has been bashed a lot in the English press. He was thought to be maybe the best English manager 4 or 5 years ago when he got the Chelsea job, or however many years ago that was, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And he flamed out there, then became kind of a joke to people because of the way West Ham performed. He goes to Sweden, sort of rehabilitates his career, I guess, by winning 2 playoff matches that they shouldn't have qualified for. But of course, Potter never would have taken the job if they were out of World Cup qualifying. I think he basically knew, okay, they're finishing last in their group or next to last in their group. It doesn't matter. There's this double jeopardy thing or this second chance thing with the Nations League. So congratulations to Graham Potter. I'm happy for him. But I think you got 47 teams that qualified through again, 48 teams is too much. I think the World Cup should be 24 teams. I even think 32 was too much. 24 teams. But you had, given what the rules are, 48 teams, 47 who qualified through a normal path. And then you have one that didn't. And the one that didn't happens to be one of the more decorated footballing nations. And I'm not going to say, okay, well, they're Sweden, so they should be here because they're Sweden. But if it had been Kosovo, Kosovo got to the final, right? But so that's a bad example. If it had been, who else could have come out of the Nations League in Europe? If it had been Azerbaijan, let's say, or it had been Bulgaria, I would say, I'm not going to say, that's illegitimate that they made it, but Sweden making it is fine. So yeah, I guess they won 2 playoff matches, just like Bosnia did. Just like Bosnia didn't win either match, actually. There were 2 draws. So, but just like Turkey did. Turkey, who I think will be pretty strong at the World Cup. They're a formidable side, but it really doesn't sit well with me, Sweden's qualification. Just wanted to register that.